Chair recognizes the gentleman from Todd for explanation of the bill and a motion thereon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We ask the clerk to report House Committee Substitute 1, please.
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to House Bill 257.
Gentleman from Todd.
Move for adoption.
Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 257, as amended by House Committee Substitute 1, essentially does the following. It creates an account, a trust fund, the Kentucky, Kentucky Contribution Trust Fund. I wrote that note myself, Mr. Speaker. Kentucky Contribution Trust Fund. And what this fund does is this. When there are funds solicited by someone in the executive branch, legislative branch, or in the judicial branch, an official solicitation for a good purpose or a neutral purpose, those funds have traditionally come in as off-budget accounts for which we have not normal oversight. This trust fund would create a receptacle into which those funds would be deposited, and then the normal processes for oversight would apply, plus some reporting requirements that we've added in. Relative to Team Kentucky funds, Team Kentucky, West Kentucky, and East Kentucky solicitations, this would make an appropriation of those funds. So all of the funds would come into the trust fund. Of these three, we're going ahead and making appropriations, especially for the East and West, so those funds can go back out by appropriation mechanism. We have created guidelines that are consistent with the statements made to solicit the donation so that those funds are still used the appropriate way. Instructed the executive branch to promulgate regulations and guidelines for how to distribute that, make sure it's done on the front end and on the back end by planning and by oversight, report back to us, and we can go ahead and get those funds out to the relief it was intended. I have communicated with the executive branch. They understand the process, and I think they're on board with that without an official letter. I received no objection, and actually, it's good. I would make a motion for passage of 257 as amended by House Committee Substitute 1.